All right. I'm going to be showing you guys what I envision this year for our team. Starting 9v9, so it's a brand new year. Our formation right now, we are going to be starting with 3 defenders. Not even, let's do it this way for now. 3 defenders, 3 midfielders. Oh yeah, 1 goalie. Can't forget the goalie. And then we're going to have a 1-1, if you want to think about it that way for now. Granted, we'll almost never look like this. But I told y'all one thing that was probably a little incorrect the other night. So this player here is going to be, I said more like a number 8. I'm going to call it a number 10 because this is almost like a 6/8 and this is almost like a 10/8, but it's going to be way more offensive. So I'm going to call this the number 10 and I'm going to call this the number 6. However, this number 6 will play a number 8 role a whole lot as well. And this number 10 will play a number 8 role a whole lot as well. So specifically, let's look at build out. So if we are building out, here's how I'd want us to set up. So what I've done here is I've taken our defenders, our left and right defenders, and put them over here. We're almost going to play in the style that we're going to play where everyone's a center back. So these aren't really wing backs in that I'm trying to get these players all the way involved on offense, all the way down the field. Now, I'm not saying you wouldn't want to come up to the field and support the offensive attack. It's just the way that we're going to play. All 3 of you are almost like center backs. You're all going to be interchangeable. You're not just going to play just right back or just left back or just center. You very well may move around a lot. But how we're going to start our build out is our keeper's going to start with the ball here. We're going to have a defensive back on the right and left side. Our center defender is going to be more in this top of the circle of the 18-yard box area. And these can split out. Y'all need to discuss. The number 10 needs to be on one side and the number 6 on another side. Your wingers, your midfield wingers, are going to be on the outside here. Your forward, which is our number 9 player, is going to need to be stretching the defense. So if they've got defenders that are back further down the field, go ahead and stay further down the field. Now when the ball gets played, I want you working to whatever side that the ball gets played on. Whoever's the goalkeeper, do not feel like you have to always play it one way or the other. You can play it here, you can play it here. If you see that they've got people stacked trying to do a high press on us and you want to send it right over the top, you feel free to send it right over the top. If your leg grows and you feel confident you can reach further and they've pushed everybody up with a real high press, and you want to send it as far as you can, hoping to reach the forward, I'm not against that. I want y'all to try everything. That being said, one thing that we're going to have to get better at this year is, so let's say we do start and go to the right with the ball. Let's say we go to our right. Let me put in some defenders here. So let's say that they are defending us something like this. Because I would probably do a similar type defense to that. So let's say they're defending us like that. This person comes, and we don't have to just go here. We don't always have to go forward. A perfectly acceptable pass is right back to the goalkeeper. Then that keeper would want to keep the switch going right back here. If this person isn't trailing fast enough, we could play the ball right here to the center defender. We've got runners, boom. We've got runners, boom. We've got places we can play the ball. We need to get really good at understanding that at any point in time, if we don't like the look going forward, we need to turn around and go right back to where it came from. Go back to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper comes over here. The switch is on. This person could get caught up over here. So we've got a lot of space all of a sudden right here that we can take advantage of. Either forcing into space ourselves with the ball, this person staying an option, pulling, then when they pull, maybe there's more space. There's a lot of options that can come about from just switching the field. So that's something that I want y'all to really think about, is that when you go one way or the other, we are not predetermined saying that we have to go that direction continually. We can turn right back around, cross the ball, go the other direction. Just please keep that in mind this year, because that is something that we're going to be working on. We may give up goals doing that. That's okay. We're going to grow and learn from that. I'm not worried about it at all. All right, that being said, now let's talk about build out pressure. Let's just say that this is what we're seeing from the other team. Now let's say the blue team is the other team, and let's say we're the black team now. This is how I would set up the build out pressure. The only player that's going to pressure is our number 9, our forward. The other players are going to be covering. So this would be our 3 defenders here, right? Center defender up top, other defenders right and left are going to be more of the bracketing of this player, somewhat slightly behind them. Let's say y'all want to put one on and have one behind, that's fine too. You just need to talk, because you will get a feel for this player and how they like to play. Maybe they're a speed game player, so they got lots of speed. Maybe they're a control player where they can dribble through and around a lot of people. You're just going to have to find out what kind of player you got on your hands and then react accordingly to how you cover them. And we can talk about that more at length for anyone that wants to go down that path. We can talk about how to cover different types of players. All right, so let's say we're doing the build out pressure here. This number 9, which is our forward, no matter which way it goes. So let's say it goes this way. Well, the number 9 should make a run that is going to cut off the pass to this center player here. So if this player's going this way, you're making your run towards the ball, not just worried about beating them to a spot, but also worried about that pass. While you are running this way, you are giving time for this player to come and this player to come, and we're leaving the backside open. So the player that was guarding the backside winger, if the ball gets played this way, is going to switch over and start guarding the player more central, where the player that was guarding them is going to come guard now the forward. The more is going to be in a more forward position guarding their center defender, while this person tries to attack the ball. Now, as you see, we've kind of got them somewhat pinned in that we've got everyone covered again except for the switch. If they want to switch it, we would do the same thing. This person would then make a run trying to cut off that player. So they're going to keep switching it this way. When they do, it's going to be really hard for this player, but at the same time, these players are trying to switch back while this player is making up ground. It's difficult when someone switches on you, which is why we've got to get good at switching, because that switch creates space, because it means you should be moving more than likely on the backside to a different player. If you are this player, you need to be rotating around to covering the other players that need to be covered. You can cover that player. So basically what I'm getting at is, if they go to one side of the field, we want to leave that backside open and go cover the more central players or the more ball side players. We don't always want to just stay on our player if we're really far away from the ball. So let's say they've got this ball over here. I'm not sure there's many people at our age that would be able to make a strong enough, accurate enough pass to make this person dangerous. So leaving them open is usually not a big deal. We want to be worried more about the people closer to the ball or closer to the center of the field, which is where dangerous runs can happen towards our goal. I just really want y'all to be thinking, though, while we are putting pressure on the ball, the people covering, I don't want you covering in front, like trying to keep the pass from getting straight to them. I want you on our goal side. So I want our players covering on our goal side, If they get past the ball, they've still got to get through us. We're good 1v1. We can take that ball from them, and then we're on. We can start attacking. if we are trying to cover between the ball, if we're covering ball side instead of goal side, if we're covering ball side instead of goal side, one through ball is all it takes. And our defense is in trouble because they've got a lot of ground to make up. These may be very speedy people, and look, there's no one between them and this defense. We have taken ourselves out of the game. We've got to stay goal side because that through ball is more dangerous than a pass straight to them because they've still got to go through us. Remember, if we're ball side trying to think, oh, I'll just keep them from getting it, all they got to do is pass into open space past us and they're on. We're in trouble. So we got to make sure that when we're defending on a pressure situation in their third, we want to do it on the side of our goal. I'm going to set up another situation now because I'm going to say the other team is the blue team right now, and let's say their build out very well may be more like this. So this may be something that we see as well. A lot of people will run a 3-2-3, but on the build out, they'll keep one of their center backs or one of their wingers further up the field and basically become a 2-3-3. I've seen this a lot as well. So what we would do in this case, we're going to keep, if they spread out real wide like this, real wide with their wingers, we're not going to go all the way out onto them with our defenders, right? We're not going to do that because what that does is create huge lanes in the middle of the field. It is better for us to stay like this until the ball is played. So let me put our other pieces. All right, we already have our so I would still want us. So the way that I would play this, we're going to have basically an overload in the middle. I've got our defenders back more central. If the ball gets played this way, then this player immediately does go over here to cover. And this player stays where, and maybe even creeps more central so that this player can creep a little bit more that side. This player immediately goes to pressure, just like normal. We should already have someone else there, and we can even overload pressure this side, or we can hedge, and I'll leave that up to you guys, because if you see that they're really good at switching, you would probably want to hedge with this player to cover that switch. Otherwise, just in case they beat that 1v1, we've got an overload here, and we can hit 2v1 and really out-pressure them. It's a little riskier doing that, but I would love it if you guys wanted to try that. I'm certainly open, and I would encourage it. Let's say when we pressure, we see that they are really good at switching the ball and going back this way. Then it would probably be prudent to leave our other player this side to then take care of that switch to give us that cover. If they do switch, then of course our defense switches over. So we are now covered properly defensively. We're not worried about this player right now. Unless they show us that they've got a leg that can really drop it over the top, we're not going to worry about it. And at that point, we're probably not even having that extra pressure. We're probably leaving people back to cover those lanes. But there's a lot. That's just one possible scenario. There's going to be a whole lot of possible scenarios that we'll go through and match whatever they're doing to try to do it better. But again, all right, so now I'm going to go back to, I know I keep switching who's what color. I'm going to say we're the blue now, and we're building out. I'm going to go back to our build out. So right now, we think they may look something like what I've told you I want ours to be. They may not. So some people may say, you know what, we've only got this one player back here. We're going to push up. They wouldn't push their defender up. They'll put their defender, or they're almost treat them like a center mid back. They'll put that there. They'll put that there. And then they'll pressure immediately, one way or the other, and they'll already have their other person covered. Well, what that's going to do is make them either have to beat people 1v1 or switch. And if this happens, if they're doing that to us, I am perfectly fine with y'all taking them on 1v1 to beat them. Hopefully your men are then moving out. So again, we've talked about dragging people into spaces. This person could then start backing up, hoping to drag that person away from this space so that that pass is on. Now we've got a wide open field here where this person's likely trailing. I mean, young ladies, y'all are very good at taking people on 1v1. I'm never going to be upset with y'all taking people on 1v1. If they put additional pressure up here to pressure us, and you can beat one of them 1v1, that likely means we've got extra space somewhere because they've put an extra player in to pressure us. And we may be playing teams that know they're a year older than us, and hey, they may even put 3 players up on top to really put pressure on us. Take them on 1v1. Players on that second line, you've got to be working into space because the space should be there on that second line to where we can play it over the top to you, and the break will be on because they put so many players up high. We also may run into them not pressuring at all. So there's a real possibility that they just say, you know what, we're going to play right back here. They may say, you go ahead and pass, and they're just going to cover everything. They're just going to slowly come to you, hoping that you make a mistake. They may even not even approach you and pressure you. They may even keep dropping back. If that happens, take the space that they give you and keep looking for open lanes that you could possibly pass through, right? So we are looking for open space. Sometimes it's good to drag your player. So you're going this way, your player's following, creates a lot of space for another one of your teammates to have area to run in. These are the types of things that we're going to have to start thinking about. The older that we get, the more we're going to have to be playing space, more so than directly at someone's feet. So that's something else that you just need to keep in mind and be aware of. Okay, this is our main build out. I've taken the other team's players off of the board because I really want to talk about our shape as we move forward. So if we have the ball and we're working down, let's say this is that number 10, that 8-10 player, they're going to be way more offensive. So a lot of times if we have the ball, they're going to be getting upfield as best they can to almost give us a 2-forward type scenario. It'll be like a number 10 and a number 9 working together. The number 6 that we have originally at center mid will become more like a number 8 where they're working upfield as well. The center defensive back, which is normally like a 4 or a 5, will become a 6 where they'll almost be working like a defensive midfielder. Our wing backs, which we're not really using as wing backs, our left defender and our right defender will become more of a central defense pair where they'll be the main defensive central pair as we move down. Our wingers will be true, our left wing and right wing midfielders will be true wingers, trying to work the width of the field, trying to work the ball down the field to get crosses into the box for our number 10 and our number 11 to run onto. Our number 6, 8 will be trailing the play, also offensively. So let's say we're fully offensive, and I'll even put some of their players in. So let's say they're keeping a player up here. Let's say they've got 3 defenders. Let's put the ball. Let's say this player right here has the ball. Or I'm sorry, let's say this player right here has the ball. They would likely be marking us like that. Something similar. Now, these may be too far down because they're obviously trailing, because this is likely going to be someone breaking down the sideline. These players trailing down, all these players trailing down. This player making a width run to the backside, to the back post of the goal, so that we can hopefully play the ball in to this dangerous area with a lot of people attacking. This player's inching forward. If we've got multiples, let's say they're leaving 2 players up, we might leave you a little bit further back because we kind of want to always have an overload. If they leave 3 up, and some may, let's say they leave 3 up, we're going to have this person stay further back because we would likely do like that. And only cover if the ball goes one way or the other, we would shift over. So our defense has to be pretty dynamic in that if there's 3 forwards, our 3 defenders have to stay back. You can't have 1 up and the other 2 back. We can't cover that way. We wouldn't want to cover that way because never going to make it back to help here. If this person has to shift over, they're going to be trailing the whole time. This person's going to be wide open. You have to stay on your goal side. As a defender, if they leave 3 up. If they only leave 2 up, and I'm not caring where I put these people, if they leave 2 up, let's say they're doing that, I would want us to play like this, where we've got a person behind them, a person behind them, and one splitting the difference so that we can try to beat them to the ball if the ball pops out in this direction, or if it looks like they steal and are about to get a pass. We try to cut these passes off with our centermost defender. That's if they leave 2 back. That's how we'd want to play them. If they left only 1 up top, I'm even perfectly fine with doing this and having this center mid or center defensive player get way more involved in the play. Because if we've only got 1 that we have to deal with and there's 2 of us, let's create a sandwich. You know how we do it, ladies. Let's sandwich them and let them give us an extra offensive player here to work with. That would be the hope. So that's the scenarios defensively that we may run into. Remember, offensively, we are still on the attack. Now, these are all while we're on the attack. Our wingers still want to stay really wide, right? And our forward wants to stay as far down the field as they can to stretch as much as they can the defense. Then we need a center. We need our 10 to really be attacking, our 9 to be attacking. Our backside, if the ball's over here coming in, needs to be hitting that back post. If the ball's over here, this winger needs to be hitting that back, coming to that back post. We all need to be converging to try to score on the goal. When we lose the ball in these situations, we want what's called defensive shape. So this player will be getting back, this player will be getting back. Now they're all going to be going forward. But here's what I'm going to show you. Let's say, I'm going to not even worry about their players right now. Let's say we lose the ball. Everyone needs to be tracking back, obviously. The only person that doesn't, I'll say everyone, is the number 9, the forward. The forward wants to take as much field as they're willing to give us. If they leave a person down here, the forward wants to stay down here because that's keeping the field stretched out. That's the only person that one of their main jobs is to stretch the field. If they keep the field stretched and scare the other team into staying real far down towards their goal, that's helping the entire midfield out. But otherwise, we want to be compact. We want to be compact like this. We don't want to be spread out. So when we're on offense, we spread out, right? When we're on defense, We don't spread out. We are compact. So when you hear me telling you compact, it's like this. And this shape right here, it may move a little bit, but it's not moving a lot. And this as a unit shifts. So if the ball is over here, well then guess what? We're like that. And if there's somebody on the backside, we kind of leave them open even. If we find that they're really good at hitting that player, maybe we drift a little bit further back. But we don't ever, and in fact, that person only would be out there if they've got players out there. Otherwise, you don't even need to be out that far. You want to be more compact. You don't want to be really wide when you're on defense. You want to be keeping the field as compact as you can to make it harder for anyone to dribble through, pass through, or really attack our goal.